Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I am content, Charles.
Contento, would you say?
I guess, sure.
That's good. I'm glad you're contento. I am discontento. That's what I am.
Would you say you're at peace?
No, I would say that I'm at war with my coffee maker.
Oh.
I guess I'm gonna have to make peace with it, so I'll be the peacemaker. There's a TV show called Peacemaker starring John Cena that I've been watching.
Awkward.
And it's kind of a throwback to like 80s action sort of thing. And another throwback to 80s action horror movies was that I watched recently is titled Mandy and stars Nicolas Cage, the only Nicolas P. Bottom Cage, as what's his name, Red Miller, whose wife gets murdered, and then he gets a cool super axe and slices guys up with it and fights like Hellraiser demons. It's cool. It's a good movie. And one tradition of 80s action and horror movies that has fallen by the wayside now in modern times is the completely age inappropriate kids cartoon tie-in, you know? Like RoboCop is a hard R movie with cursing and nudity and horrible violence, right?
Yeah.
And there was a kids cartoon that went for, I think, 3 seasons that was aimed solely at children and, you know, toned this ultra-violent universe down to like a PG, right? And we don't really do that anymore. We don't have like Mad Max or John Wick. They don't have tie-in kids cartoons, which I think is a shame. So, to honor this tradition, I will be pitching an animated Mandy television series titled Mandy, The Adventure Continues. Hopefully, we will be able to get Nicolas Cage to redo his.
Well, I don't think he's got much going on, so he'd probably do it.
Yeah, he would definitely.
He'd probably do it if this was a fan-funded project by just you and me, animated and drawn by us. He would say yes.
Yes. He'd love it.
Nicolas Cage. He's got a new movie coming out. It's called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
And he plays himself. And he goes to like Italy, I think it is, and he goes to hang out with Pedro Pascal. He's playing like a billionaire. Mm-hmm. And it seems like I didn't know I needed to see like a bromance comedy between Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
With Nicolas Cage playing himself. But I really do need to see it.
It does say that now that you pitch it like that, that sounds really good. I want to watch it. That sounds fun. Yeah.
The title. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah.
That's the greatest title ever.
It's a really good title. I think that should be like on his gravestone in some way. He suffered the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah,
he's a good actor and he's a dad, right? Yeah, he's a dad. He's probably a pretty good dad. Yeah. There's a picture of Nicolas Cage walking around with his kid, and Nicolas Cage is just in like pajama pants and a t-shirt, and his kid is in like this huge fur coat and has like super nice designer pants and like high-end sneakers. It's like weird how well dressed his kid is. But that's besides the point. You know what? This is besides the point also. How famous do you think you have to get in order to play yourself in something? Because Pedro Pascal...
We got Being John Malkovich. We've got the Nicolas Cage movie, so that's
Nicolas
two.
Cage movie.
There's a third one. What is it? It's...
Neil Patrick Harris in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
That wasn't the one I was thinking of. There's another one.
Yeah. What else?
Oh, what's his name? Val Kilmer did one.
You're right, he did. What did he do?
Maybe it's Val. The movie's called Val. It came out last year.
How is it? Does it have like a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes?
93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, good for Val. Also, Entourage.
Seems like a documentary. This might not count.
No. Jean-Claude Van Damme did a TV show where he played himself, but he was also a super spy.
I think the criteria has to be the movie has to be about you.
Yeah, that is.
You can't just be in it as yourself, because then there's tons of cameos. Because being John Malkovich and
the unbearable weight of massive talent
are very much about these characters.
Yeah,
I guess you could say Jerry Seinfeld. It's a TV show about him.
Yeah, that's true. Curb Your Enthusiasm is about Larry David, starring Larry David. That makes sense. In Entourage, there's a bunch of cameos in Entourage. None of them are real people. But Matt Damon's in Entourage.
How did we get onto this? Nicolas Cage. We were going to see if he was going to do that movie. So yeah. Mandy, it's not about what I thought. He's been pitching this for weeks.
I have.
He's just told me the title. And I always thought it was The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. But it's not.
Nope, it's an action.
I thought it was going to be a tie-in, spin-off where Mandy is like the Grim Reaper now. Which wouldn't make a ton of sense, but would be cool. So.
Actually, that would be really cool. Well, this is it's a spin-off of the movie Mandy. It's an action animated kids show where it's basically a Monster of the Week sort of sitch. I haven't thought of any main series arc because I don't think that would work very well for this kind of a show. So basically, it follows Nicolas Cage's character, Red Miller. He's just defeated the bad guys from the first movie, who were these like half biker, half Hellraiser demons that got their minds like turned all around and flipped by a bunch of bad acid. Like they all ate a bunch of bad acid and then they went crazy. Nicolas Cage just took like a big axe and fought them. I think he might have also had a chainsaw sword fight with another guy.
Yeah.
And he beats him. He wins. He gets in his car. I'm pretty sure it's like an old-timey 70s muscle car. And he drives away. This show starts after that. Nicolas Cage, his whole, life is upended by this. So he's just living in his car, driving from town to town, trying to remain inconspicuous. When he's driving around middle America, he's going place to place, he's eating at diners, he's saying thank you ma'am, no ma'am, he's being that kind of guy, and he runs into all sorts of monsters and werewolves and demons and all sorts of stuff. So the first episode starts with him, Nicolas Cage, driving down the countryside. He's got his cool axe in the passenger seat. Maybe he's got the what do you call it, the seatbelt over the axe, like it's his kid.
That's cute. Is it? Yeah. I'm just trying to picture. Is this a convertible? Is this a?
Nah, it's not a convertible, but it is like a 70s muscle car, like an old Camaro sort of thing. Look up the cool axe from Mandy, because I think you need to see it to really.
All right, I will keep
get
going.
it. So he's driving down the highway, and I have it written here, with his cool axe thing and bitchin' car, when a werewolf throws a tree at him. You hear
throws a tree at him. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a big werewolf. It's like the size of a moose.
Cool looking axe.
Yeah.
Looks like it hurts to hold.
Yeah, that was always my thing, but I think he wraps his hands up or something before he grabs onto it.
Okay.
So Nicolas Cage is, he's driving down the interstate. It's night out. He's got a cigarette or something. He's got the radio is on some cool song. You hear a distant howl of something that's like, it might be a wolf, it might be something else. And then just out of the darkness, out of his headlights, illuminate a tree that's just flying towards him as fast as it can. As fast as, it can. It goes through, it crashes his car, he spins out, he's, thrown out of the vehicle. He is knocked unconscious. Oh, I got it.
And it's Superman, because a few minutes earlier, he threw coffee in his face at a diner.
Yeah.
And now Superman's chucking logs at him. Just like
Superman
in Man of Steel.
comes up and snaps all his legs.
Yep.
I never understood why Superman doesn't do that,
Snaps people's legs?
Yeah, just snap them in
half. He's not
half.
a bad guy.
Yeah, but they live. They just got a broken leg.
They probably wouldn't live. If someone walked up to you and snapped your leg, you'd probably die.
He could karate chop a leg in half, but that's not the point. Nicolas Cage is knocked unconscious, thrown from the vehicle. We see him, he wakes up, he's bleary-eyed, and by his car, you can see it, it's being like ripped apart by this giant animalistic beast that's like, tearing into it. Nicolas Cage sees it, and he's like, what the hell? Or whatever Nicolas Cage would say. The character wasn't very talkative, so we probably wouldn't have him talking all that much.
Yeah. That's good for a whole show about one character.
There's gonna be more characters, don't worry. So he's,
because apparently the main one doesn't talk.
Well, he does talk, he just doesn't, he's not making quips, There is a very good scene in the movie where Nicolas Cage, is in his underwear, and he chugs an entire bottle of vodka. So maybe we could have that. That would be fun.
Good
like
callback.
he just
in a
goes
kid
to
show, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's chugging like orange juice or something in the kid show.
Yeah, in his underwear while like screaming and bleeding from his hands.
Maybe he's not bleeding from his hands. This is a kid show. My job is to make sure it's still PG.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm assuming there's never going to be blood. Everything's going to bleed like green ooze.
Yeah.
Because it's a kid show. So Nicolas Cage is like angry. His car just got destroyed, and he's, he runs up, knocks the beast, not over, but he knocks it away from the car. And as the beast is like, whoa, you can see that it's like it's a cross between a man, a wolf, and a moose. It's big. It's got, maybe it could have horns. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool if we gave a werewolf horns. That would be fun.
Maybe.
And we could put some skulls.
One horn, like a
horns.
unicorn.
One horn. Oh, it's like an elk
or like
horn.
elk antlers, something coming out.
What if it had one elk antler? Like it was in a unicorn spot, but it was an antler. That would be fun.
I got you.
Yeah. And Nicolas Cage grabs his axe out of the car, swings it, slashes at the beast. The beast, dodges back, hits Nicolas Cage. I'm just gonna call him Nick Cage. His name's Red, but I'm just gonna call him Nick Cage. Smacks him away, is about to go over and like rip his guts out and eat him. When Nick Cage like slashes him across the face.
I'm sorry, Charlie. It's actually Mr. Cage to you.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Cage slashes him across the face. The beast is injured and it runs away. And Nick Cage just looks, fuck. And he gets up.
He doesn't say fuck. It's a kid show.
He says, shoot. He gets up, throws his axe on his back, grabs maybe like a duffel bag from the trunk of his car, and just starts walking down the interstate as the sun begins to rise. That's the opening of the show. That's the first scene that we see. Mm-hmm. Then we do the intro. Roll credits. It's the end. That's the whole
season.
We could do what is it? Maybe he and we have like a fun intro. We could have an intro song and all that sort of thing. So it's
kind of excited. You want to do like folky or jazzy? I'm feeling more folky.
Yeah, I think folky is more the move here.
Okay.
Ding! It's like we could have
a
banjo,
and we got some old man singing, and the song mentions Nicolas Cage. And
we, intercut the old man singing about Nick Cage with Nick Cage killing monsters from the season, swinging that big axe and doing all sorts of cool monster killing stuff.
I like so in the intro, all the scenes in the intro are not actually in the show at all.
Oh, that is good. That's
always
like
one of my favorite things. And I think that every kill in the intro should be way cooler than anything that's actually in the show.
Can we not do that?
Because that would be funny.
That would be funny, but I would feel
bad.
People be
waiting for that stuff to happen, and then it wouldn't happen. They'd be pissed off.
Well, maybe we should just do stuff in the intro that's not even related close to what's happening in the show. In the intro, he's getting abducted by aliens, and he's fighting, I don't know, he's riding a space dragon into battle, or he's piloting the Millennium Falcon or something. We just do all sorts of copyrighted material. I'm assuming Disney is making this with us. So
yeah, well, I mean, they own everything, so it makes sense.
He, manages to make it into town, and he's bleeding profusely because he's just had a fight with a werewolf and that sort of thing. And instead of going to a nurse or a doctor or anything, he's just like, I'm gonna go to a diner. He just eats at diners. Could that be his thing? We could have that be his thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat anywhere else besides diners, and he always gets the same thing.
Grilled cheese.
Maybe it could be something weird.
Onions.
With onions. How about cream chipped beef? He gets cream chipped beef and a
What's
coffee.
the weird thing? What's the thing you used to get every time we went to a diner? You should get that. You used to always get the same frickin' sandwich.
A Reuben?
You used to always get a Reuben. He gets a Reuben at every diner.
Yeah. A Reuben, nothing wrong with a good Reuben. So he gets a Reuben and a cup of coffee and sits down at the diner bar and just starts eating it while everybody's kind of looking at him because he's this like bloodied man who's like has a huge axe on his back. Yeah. And he's just like, whatever. Maybe he's cutting into a sandwich. We could have that be a thing. He eats the sandwich.
He uses a fork and knife for a sandwich.
He uses a fork and knife for a sandwich because he's a lunatic. Mm-hmm. And this woman, this young lady, Lisa, comes up. She sidles up next to him, sits down, and says, something along the lines of, well, I don't mean to pry, but you look a little beat up, sir. Can I help you out? I'm a nurse, or I'm a nursing student. You know, she's knows her way around a needle. Because that's always what you need in these kinds of shows.
She's serious about the stranger in the bar. She's not like joking about it. Is she a funny character or not?
I think she has to be funny because Red Miller's not funny. But she's like, she's messing around with him. Maybe it's like, oh, would you cut yourself shaving? And he's got this huge slash down his neck. And he's like,
good kids jokes. That's a good kid joke. Kids would like that. I could see 8-year-old Jake losing his mind on that one. Like, he good.
He doesn't shave. He's got a beard. Maybe he could shave. I don't know. But she's like, oh, did you cut yourself shaving? Let me stitch you up. And he's like, fine. And so he doesn't stop eating the Reuben sandwich as she like sews him up. And she's talking to him. She's just making conversation. It's like, oh, what happened? And he's like, I totaled my car. And we're like, oh, how'd you do that? It's just flat open road. Were you a little? We probably can't reference drunk driving.
We can say it was something else, and the parents would get it, but the kids wouldn't. She's like, did you have too much milk or something? And, parents would be like, she's just saying milk because she means alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's a kid show. It's a joke.
Maybe that could be his thing. He just drinks milk. Instead of coffee, he just orders milk at diners. All the diners he goes to, he gets a Reuben sandwich.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah. He gets a Reuben sandwich and a tall glass of milk.
Anyone who gets milk at a restaurant or a diner, you're an insane person. Just letting you know.
Literally a lunatic.
You're just a freaking psycho. If you order milk in public, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, that is weird. Unless you are a baby, you should not be drinking milk in front of other people.
If you're a child, it's okay.
Yeah, I would say up to the age of 10. But after that,
I used to be a waiter, and this should have gone more poorly than it did. I didn't really get a reaction, but someone asked me for a large glass of milk, and it was an adult. And just knee-jerk reaction, I said, "Are you sure?" Fortunately, they were like, "Yeah," like they just thought I was double checking, and not like that I was questioning the fact that they were getting milk because they're an adult.
Not insulting them, which you were doing, just to be fair, which they deserved. She's talking to him, and she eventually finds out that it was the local werewolf. I haven't given it a name. What should the name be? The Beast of Pascatoa's past. The Toa. It's a werewolf though, right? Yeah. But it has like antler horns. It's a weird like werewolf monster thing. Yeah. So it's not a werewolf. It's like a buck. It's a wolf. Yeah, buck wolf. But it's a guy. Like, we know as the audience and the writers that this is a guy who turns into a monster, but the town just knows it's a monster that attacks people. Yeah, the buck wolf. So she finds out, it was the buck wolf who attacked him, and everyone's like, the whole diner is quiet. The, jukebox turns off. Maybe the guy's...
No, maybe he's like talking to her and he's like, I don't know. He's like a deer mixed with a wolf. It was like some sort of buck wolf. And everyone's like, oh, all the lights turn off. Jukebox shuts off. Everyone turns over. Candles are blown out. There's candles now for some reason. There wasn't candles in any of the shots, but now there's candles in this shot. They're blown out.
And like people start like getting their kids out, and Lisa's talking to him. She's like, "You fought the buck wolf?" And they're like, "Yeah, it totaled my car. Slashed it across the face. It got me pretty good. That's why you're here, whatever." And she's like, "You're the only person that this town has seen that survived a buck wolf attack in 30 years. Nick Cage is like, "Well, what's the story?" And she explains the history of the buck wolf in this town. And, 30 years ago, on July 4th, we were having a huge, festival celebration with fireworks and all this stuff. And there was, a little parade happening that was going through the town, and that was the first time anyone had ever seen the buck wolf. It started attacking people, tearing through the parade floats, and 16 people were killed. In what year should it have happened in? Because I think the show should take place in like the 80s.
Show's in the 80s.
Yeah.
And 16 people were killed. The first buck wolf attacked.
Yeah, it's 30 years before that, so like the 50s.
Yeah, you could just do the math.
I'm not... math. Fucking nerd. We do... So he's like, well, if I kill this buck wolf, if I stop this reign of terror, will this town reimburse me? And she will be like, well, whatever you need. We've been trying to fight this menace for 30 years. The only person who has even come close is our Sheriff Rettenbacher, who,
Orville,
who was near
Rettenbacher.
Yeah,
What's
Orville.
His name?
Yeah, he had a life or death sparring match with the beast and nearly died. And then we, Red's like, okay, if I kill this thing, I want my car. I want a new car. And then we, show the car, a new car, and it's like, it's the same kind of car he had, but it's brand new. It's got all like heated seats and all that stuff. It's nice. He's like, hell yeah. So he decides he's gonna, kill this monster. So he goes talks to the sheriff. The sheriff is this, grizzled guy. He's got the huge scar across his face. The classic thing.
Can we go back for a second? Since this is a kid's show, he shouldn't ask for a reward. They should just give it to him at the end.
That's a good point.
Good morals for kids, all right?
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid morals for children to have. So the sheriff is this grizzled man. He's got the huge scar across his face, probably slashed out one of his eyes. So it's one of those things where in kid shows, somebody never loses an eye. Their eye's white now.
Yeah.
So he's got one of those white eyes that doesn't work anymore in a regular eye. And he's like, oh, you shouldn't even try. You're just going to get yourself killed.
Yeah.
And Red Miller is like, I think I can handle this thing. So we spend a few minutes, Lisa and Red are talking, and she's done a lot of research on this beast. She's figured out, well, it doesn't like, what should the beast be allergic to?
It's a kid show, so something silly.
Carrots. Bees, you're right. Well, I found out that he doesn't go anywhere near the bee farms. That's our town's main export is bees. Is honey. Yeah. He leaves the bee farms alone. So I think that he's allergic, and we can use that against him. And Red's like, you know what? You might have a point there. So there's like a suit up scene where Red's like sharpening his axe. Maybe he's getting on like a cool leather jacket. We could have him put on a cool leather jacket. Some like padding so if he gets bit, it won't go like straight through his arm. That sort of thing. and they get a bunch of bee venom. Maybe he's got a bee venom balm, like a chapstick, but it's bee venom, and he rubs it on the axe. So he's got it all. He's ready to rock and roll. He goes out into the woods. Lisa's, checking in with him. Maybe she's got the walkie-talkie or something. Checking in every couple of seconds. Maybe Lisa's really nervous. She's never done anything cool like this before. So she's like
dangerous is what you meant to say.
Dangerous, but awesome. Cool. And so she's just annoying him with like questions and like, so what where are you from?
Have you done
do
this
you like
before?
my shoes? Have you done this before? And Red's just answering with like one word answers like, no. I got him at the store. I'm from Minnesota. He's not really reacting, and she's like kind of gets the hint, shuts up. She goes, makes herself a cup of tea or coffee or something, and as she's doing that, Red like finds the beast. Maybe he's got like a flare or something. That would be cool if they meet in the highway on the road that he originally met him on. The beast is at one end, he's at the other. The buck wolf, he snaps the flare, throws it in the middle, and it just barely illuminates the monster, so you can see how fucking huge it is. And Red, pulls the axe off his back and gets ready to fight. And he's like, he says to the walkie-talkie, like, I found him. We're on the highway. If you're gonna help. And she's not listening because she's making the coffee. So he gets into this fight. There's like it's like an awesome battle. Lots of cool choreographies, like slashing it with the axe. The beast is like injured because he doesn't like the bee venom. Maybe parts of him start like bubbling up.
Yeah.
So he's slashing him, he's fighting him, but, eventually the beast gets Red pinned down. He's about to slash his face off when Lisa shows up driving that fucking badass car that Red wants and slams into the back of the beast, knocking it off. The beast is like pinned down by the car. Red gets up, stabs it in the heart, and slowly you can watch the monster, the buck wolf, slowly deflate, and you see that it was the sheriff the whole time, because of course it was.
Yeah.
And the sheriff had like a horrible bee allergy.
Yeah.
That's, we open his wallet. Maybe he's got one of those things on his neck, like the necklaces that are like, if stung by a bee, please call medic blank 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 blank.
Maybe he's got a one of those self-injectors, for
EpiPens. Yeah,
that's what it's called.
He got an EpiPen. That would be funny, and it'd be like,
well, do you want him to die? The sheriff?
Oh, I guess we can't have him die.
It's
It is a kid's show.
You can then you use the EpiPen to stab him, and he's fine.
He stabs him, puts the EpiPen through, and it like doesn't go through immediately because of his horrible beast flesh. So he has to hit him a few times. Goes through, hits the EpiPen. The guy survives. He's in the hospital, and the whole town is angry with him. Maybe we shouldn't have him have killed 16 people.
Yeah, they just say he terrorized the town. Don't specifically say that he killed someone.
Yeah.
And you could say how did he get this disease? Do you have an idea for that? How did he become a werewolf? Buck wolf?
I was just gonna. I wasn't really gonna reveal too much, but it was probably gonna be he got it during the war.
All right, idea. Because this is a kid's show. He was poaching and got cursed by a witch.
A witch. That would be good. Yeah.
And
cursed by a witch. Classic.
The curse was like he would be a werewolf until he was defeated by
a true warrior.
No, it was like, how does that make sense? So
maybe it could just be like a stranger will relieve you of this curse.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be part of it. They find Lisa and Red during their investigation into the monster before the big ending fight. they like find the curse in like an old grimoire like book in the
you'll
library.
be cursed until the hunter, because he was hunting, becomes the hunted. Boom.
Oh, there you go. And so they like, you know, save his life. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to destroy your car, Red. I can't control myself when the beast takes over.
Yeah.
And Red's like, well, as long as you know, are sure that you're clean, you're safe, you're not gonna kill anyone else, that's all I can ask for. And the town is so grateful that the beast has been vanquished. Maybe they don't tell the town that it was the sheriff.
They just say that he's dead.
The sheriff,
and the sheriff came and helped him at the end, they say. They like lie.
Yeah, the sheriff was injured, and that's how he got fucked up. But the beast is dead. Whatever. And the town, all in gratitude, gets together and gives him the car because, you know, that's nice.
Maybe it was the sheriff's car.
Nice
like he met him earlier on, and he was like, you can use my car. And then after he saves him, he's like, thank you so much. You're like the best. You can have my car for your, you know, good deed.
Mm-hmm. And then Red gets in the car. He's got his axe in the passenger seat. And, you know, he's got his duffel bag in the trunk. And he's about to leave. When Lisa comes up, she knocks on the window and says, please, sir, Red, I'm tired of this one-horse town. I've graduated my nursing school. I'm a nurse officially. Please let me come with you. And Red at first is, you know, he's hesitant, but she's like, I got a cooler full of milk. And he's like, all right,
we can't do milk. That just sounds ridiculous. Maybe he has a drink. One of my favorite parts about the movie Kate, I think that was what it was called, with Elizabeth
Moss.
No.
Warren.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead is she had a drink throughout the movie. It's like a John Wick style action movie, but she had a drink that was called Boom Boom Lemon. And it was like this thing that she was searching for the entire movie. So maybe he has a weird named drink that he really likes. Like some sort of sugary lemonade thing. And then, Charlie, hear me out. We can partner with like Coca-Cola and sell this drink and kids will buy it.
Yes! You were 100%. That is a good idea.
We could call it...
We should come up with a name. Yeah.
Strawberry cream. I don't know. What's a sugary name?
That's terrible. That's fucking great.
We need something.
Pina colada.
No, we can't do something that already exists. Lemon sickle.
Lemon sickle. That's a good name because the axe is kind of like a sickle.
Should we name it like something with the axe?
Oh, maybe lemon axe. Axe the lemon. And then we can have a commercial for it. It's like lemon axe the lemon. And then you have a big pile of lemons, and then a huge axe goes through them.
Call it Red Thunder, because his name's Red.
I literally own a drink. It's here, let me pull out Red Thunder.
No, it's an actual drink. Oh.
Red Thunder right here.
Damn.
Yeah, it's an energy drink from Aldi. Well, you know what? You, audience member, you leave your suggestion for what the title of the drink should be in the comments
we'll
below.
Steal your idea and make the drink with Coca-Cola, and after we made the show, obviously. And then boom.
And you will get 1% of
you won't get shit.
Drink sales.
Not giving you anything.
You won't get shit. It'll be great. So yeah, that, and you know, he's like, okay, you can come. And Lisa, she at first tries to get into the passenger side seat and move the axe, and he's like, and she has to sit in the back, and the axe is in the passenger seat with the seatbelt on. I think that'd be funny. That's a good way to end it. And then, you know, they drive off into the next adventure.
Are those our two characters? Do you have any other characters that are going to show up in this squad? I imagine four seats in this convertible, so there is one more spot.
There is one more spot. I haven't thought of anyone. Maybe we could have some sort of weird magical creature that really makes this show weirder. Like he's got like a gremlin.
Yeah, we could do like a devil. No, demon. Yeah. See, I'm thinking of our episode 10 special with the little demon thing. So maybe we shouldn't do something like that.
Maybe it's like a
elf.
Yeah. How about it's an elf like Santa's? Maybe we could have a Santa's like a Santa episode.
Yeah, a Christmas
and
special.
Santa's elves.
Shit.
Yeah, Christmas
this
special.
Would be great because usually in TV shows, Christmas specials mean nothing afterwards. But after the Christmas special, we get a character from it, and we have that character for the rest of the show.
Yeah, it could be like this is what Santa's elves actually were. You know, in TV shows, they're always like little just people with pointy ears, and in actuality, they're like tiny green gremlins.
This is a kid show. Charlie has to look somewhat decent.
Yeah, we're not making
we
ugly.
We can't scare kids with our like evil elves.
Yeah, but we have him like he's a little green elf guy, and he's like really good at fixing things. So maybe he fixes the car because they are constantly hitting monsters with the car.
Okay, that works.
Yeah,
I think it'd be funny too if like, because the trope is always that in whenever they show Santa in like a sarcastic way, it's always that he's like a capitalist overlord, and the elves are like essentially like just workers who work all around the whole year and just are dependent on, they're like indentured servants to him. I think it'd be funny instead if there's like tons of elves and they only work one day a year and that's it, and they have off the rest of the year. So this elf's like, I'll come with you guys after the Christmas special where like Nicolas Cage saves Christmas or something. And he's like, don't you have to like make presents? He's like, no, we just work on Christmas. We have off the PTO the rest of the year. What are you talking about? Pay time off.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, come on. I thought you guys worked all around the year to make presents. He's like, what are you talking about? Kids come up with their Christmas lists like the day before, you know? So we're not going to be able to do that.
We're magic. We just biddly boddly boo.
Also, we are magic, yeah. There's tons of us, too.
It's really
we
easy.
Just knock it out in a few hours. We just have fun the rest of the night, singing, dancing.
And, getting, drinking some Axe Lemon.
Axe Lemon.
Lemon Axe, whatever.
Axe Lemon's a good name. We'll go with that.
Yeah, Axe Lemon. And there could be a fun
different flavors too. There's strawberry Axe, and he really hates grapefruit Axe.
What if it's Axe Lemon, but they for different flavors they don't change the name? It's like Axe Lemon, strawberry flavored. Yeah. Axe Lemon, pineapple flavored. Yeah. All this weird shit.
And he hates grapefruit flavored. And he one time in one of the episodes, he goes to like a diner and all they have is grapefruit, and he runs out screaming. Just totally out of character, just runs out screaming. And Lisa just turns to the waitress, and she's like, "He really doesn't like grapefruit.
He really hates grapefruit. He doesn't like he likes grapefruit the fruit. He does not like grapefruit the flavor."
He's really upset when they only have. He needs his lemon.
And for the Christmas special, it'd be fun. We could have like Red's cool car being pulled by the reindeer.
Oh, is he saying he's gonna save Christmas? Santa is like, sick or something.
Santa turns into a monster and he's got to slice him in half with the axe.
Santa.
That's true.
They had to fight a monster in the North Pole, and Santa gets injured, and he's like, "Oh no, Christmas is ruined." And Nicolas Cage is like, "I'll save Christmas." And he drives around. Then we could sell like a Christmas toy with like
diorama.
Oh my god, this is great. We could do this.
Yeah. There's so much marketing. There's so much merchandise. I have a few other episode ideas ready and waiting.
We could have an advent calendar, 12 days of Mandy. Yeah. We could do that too. We could do a lot of stuff. Mandy-mas.
Mandy-mas.
We make it a Christmas movie. Oh my god. That's the Christmas special to movie. Then we can become a Christmas movie. And then we're done. We're set. We get a song. We get Taylor Swift to do a song for us. Oh my god.
We get and Santa should be live action. Everyone else is animated, but Santa is live action and played by Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Yeah. So the other episode ideas I have are like, they find an evil scientist who's like taken over a national park and filled it with all sorts of monsters. So they got to, hunt him down and stop him. And, there could be like a fun, weird, like monster society that Nick Cage is doesn't want anything to do with, but Lisa is all about. She wants to learn more and, that fun stuff. Maybe there could be, because I don't think we can have no guns in this show.
Yeah.
But there can still be like cool sci-fi guns,
Like lasers and
maybe
stuff?
Not even lasers, like Star Wars stun, where it's like a bunch of circles.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like that,
Mm-hmm.
There could be a Wendigo. It's eating people.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a kid's show. We should. But everybody likes a Wendigo.
The killer bunny rabbit from Monty Python.
Yes, Killer Bunny Rabbit from Monty Python.
We get Michael Palin to play it, so we have full continuity.
Yeah. The most original monster I have here is there's an alien beast sort of thing that keeps like attacking people and like ripping their car stereos out.
Yeah.
And it's because it's allergic to music. Like on its world, music is, like it's like bees and he's allergic to it. So whenever he hears music, it's like Grendel in Beowulf. Whenever he hears music, it hurts him really badly, so he goes and stops it, and he keeps like ripping people's cars open and destroying instruments. Maybe there could be a scene where like we go to a guitar center or like a music store and it's all just been destroyed.
Yeah. And they win because they start a band.
Yeah, they win because they like get him some headphones so he doesn't have to listen.
Yeah, well, they
Not
got to
everything has
subdue
to be
the creature
solved for
first.
finals.
We get Nicolas Cage to start a band. Taylor Swift comes back. She's in this episode again. And she plays guitar because we have to have Nicolas Cage sing because he's the main character.
Yeah.
And then they like subdue the creature, and then they put headphones on it or like earplugs in it so it can't hear anymore. And that's the solution. And it like gives them a hug and like thanks them.
Yeah, and it goes and lives in the woods. That would be fun. We could have like a hobo, World War II veteran hobo is living in the woods, and he's like summoning demons from the eye of the interspace. He's summoning demons from the interspace to hunt down Nicolas Cage for undisclosed reasons. Yeah. And then in a season finale, maybe it can be revealed that this hermit veteran is actually Mandy's father. Mandy was Nicolas Cage's wife who was murdered. So Mandy's father is angry at Nick Cage because his wife died.
And that could be the main villain at the end.
Yeah,
Season.
and then they could, reconcile because they're both dealing with pain.
Oh, that's great.
And they do a big hug. Like, there'll be a big fight, and then they do a big hug.
Yeah, hug.
Yeah. So that's kind of my show. That's the idea I had for the Mandy television
What was
program.
the name again for the show?
Just Mandy, The Adventures Continue.
Mandy, The Adventures Continue. What
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea. So thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots
Because
podcast.
it's not really about Mandy, Because that's his wife, right?
Yeah, but the movie's not about Mandy
Yeah,
either.
but she's in it. She's not even in this.
She's in it. She's like in it for 5 minutes.
The Adventures of Red Miller.
Yeah, that's sure.
I don't know.
We'll do the.
Are you stuck with the Mandy, The Adventures Continue?
No, I'm not stuck with it. I just feel like people wouldn't know it was a sequel series to Mandy, the movie, if we didn't title it Mandy.
Okay.
But we could do like blank blank at an actual title and then like a subtitle, and it's like Mandy the series,
I hate that kind of
whatever.
stuff. Mandy, The Adventures
I do
Continue.
too.
That's fine. We can do that.
Yeah. Well, that unless do you have anything to add to my show idea?
What's the song, Charlie, that it ends with?
Oh, that's a good point. I think it should be like Dragula by Rob Zombie.
Okay, don't know that song, but sure. I'm sure someone does.
Dragula.
And then, who do you want to play in this show?
I want to play the Christmas Goblin.
Okay.
Who do you want to play?
I want to play a monster that dies. You know, I like playing a disposable character. So I couldn't maybe like some sort of Medusa-like character. That'd be fun if we could do something like that. I always like when they have one of those.
Oh, and he can look at the reflection in the axe.
Yeah, that's good. My favorite one is I saw there was a animated show that did a version of Medusa called Meowdusa, and it was a bunch of adorable kittens. When you looked at the kittens, you became stone. So maybe if we did like a bunch of puppies, you know?
Yeah.
Bunch of adorable puppies.
Dogdusa.
With all their...
Dogdusa.
And all their tails are tied together, so it's like a big bunch of
Rat
puppies.
King, but it's a dog.
And I'll make the puppy noises. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. You know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to play the Christmas Gremlin. I want to play... Okay, in one episode, I think the car should get possessed, and it can start talking.
You want to play the car?
I want to play the car. And then, the car gets unpossessed, and you never hear it talk again. But I want to talk. I want to be the voice of the car. Okay. Yeah.
I take mine back. I'll play, because I couldn't make puppy noises. That'd be silly. We get actual puppies to make puppy noises. I'll play the character that like explains it to them. Like, but there's a puppy thing. Don't look at it. They'll be like, but it's so adorable. And I'm like, the only way you could stop it is you have to burn the puppies. That's what happens in this show. Maybe we could do something different, because I don't want to copy them.
Yeah, burn the puppies.
Burn the puppies. And they're like, you have to burn the puppies? That's awful. You have to do it while they're alive. You can't kill them first. It's like, what? So you have to maybe that's too much for a kid's show.
It might be a little much for a kid's show, but it would be funny if you were explaining it to them. It's like, the puppies are adorable. They're so adorable that if you look at them, you'll turn to stone. Look. And then you look over at the puppies and you're like, aww. And you
that's
turn
what
to
it is.
stone.
Because they were copying the animated show I was talking about, so maybe we shouldn't do that. I don't know.
Maybe it's a big snake.
It's a big snake.
Just one big snake. And it coil. You know what? It's a big snake that stands like a man. Like, all of its limbs are like just coiled snakes. It's all one big long snake that has like morphed itself into a man shape. That's what I think.
It's a kid's show, so it has to be something where, like, there has to be a good conclusion. So maybe it's some sort of creature that just wants to be friends with people, and that's adorable. So maybe it's like what's a cute thing that's not a cat or a puppy? A kitten or a puppy?
A baby.
Baby.
It's giant. It's a bunch of babies that have their tails tied together.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe it's a rabbit.
How about a monkey? Okay,
so
rabbit.
We had a rabbit that turns people to stone. It's just an adorable little bunny. Turns people to stone. And it's really sociable bunny. Just wants to hang out with people. Turns them to stone, and they cure it by...
They give it a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah. So now we have a bunny with sunglasses.
Yeah, that's fun. That'd be a fun... Yeah. Yeah, well, that's all I have for Mandy, the show. That's it.
That's all you got.
That's it. That's all I got.
It was enough. It was more than enough, Charlie. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jacob, and thank you, listener, very much for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, by my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you would like to hear more, subscribe, follow, like, what are other things?
I don't know. We come out every week on Monday.
Come out every Monday at like between midday and
that's not true. He's in
8.
fucking crazy people time. It comes out at 11:30 if you're in Eastern time, like a normal person.
Yeah.
11:30 a.m. on Mondays.
Yeah, and give us a like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your car, all about it. And we will see you next week. We won't. You'll hear us next week when Jake gives us another TV show that we should watch.
Yeah. And you heard me last week when I gave you another TV show. And then the week after that, you'll hear Charlie again.
Yeah.
You also hear me because I'm in episodes too. And in those other ones, you'll hear Charlie as well because he's in those as well.
I say things.
You'll hear all of us
too.
All the time. And by all of us, I just mean us two.
All two of us.
It's only me and Charlie forever and ever.
Ever and ever, 100 years.
Just in case you forgot, we haven't mentioned it in a while, but we are still locked in this room.
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
it's so cold.
They locked us in here years ago, and they just sort of slide food under the door.
Yeah, it's like that movie Old Boy. It's like that movie Old Boy, except there's 2 of us in here, and neither of us are going to sleep with our own daughters. Spoilers for the movie Old Boy. I didn't see this movie, so I don't know what's going on, but... Well, spoilers for the movie Old Boy.
He must have saw this movie before we got locked in here.
It's a good movie. I did. I watched it 1,000 times before we got locked up here.
That's weird.
I also watched Mandy, but that was while you were asleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
While you're asleep, right. I just watch you.
I know. I have a Ring camera. It's very strange. We get food delivered, and also we can get Amazon packages delivered. Those are the only 2 things. I've tried to order.
Jeff Bezos who has this captured in here, if I had to guess.
Oh shit!
Because Amazon's the only thing that works, you know.
Yeah.
You can't use any other delivery services.
Yeah, and what else? And what else does we can only get foods from Whole Foods.
Yep, only
Jeff
Whole
Bezos.
Foods. You can only watch Twitch.
Ew.
And Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, if I could only watch Twitch, I would just stop watching things.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.